Special thank you goes out to East Coast Patriot for hosting a preppers conference down in Edgefield, South Carolina. We had a great time. I had a great time answering some questions and just networking and hanging out with a lot of people with like minds. And so just again, thank you so much, East Coast Patriot, for the invitation and the time to hang out with you and my fellow preppers. So this video, continuing on, is going to be about water. Water is the most important thing on a retreat, most important nutrient for us as humans, for our animals, for livestock, for gardening. It goes on and on. So again, this video is, I guess, tailored to people that are planning a retreat, a place to go, or they're purchasing or looking at land right now. Make sure that you have water on this piece of property that you're looking at or that you already live on. Now, I know in an urban setting that's different, but there's so many things you can do in those settings concerning water. But this video is primarily about a retreat, a prepper's retreat. And so if you have any questions concerning wells, springs, ponds, streams, what you can do with them, how to develop a spring, and then how to get that water, because many times that water source is below the end use. It's below your home, it's below the garden. If you're fortunate to have a piece of property with a spring that's above everything, you are completely blessed, because then gravity is on your side and you can use that and do a lot with that. But if you need to get that water up, whether it's through pumping, ram pumps, hand pumps, tractor pumps, there's a lot of things I hope that you can glean from my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment or ask questions. PM me. This is one of my favorite subjects, is dealing with water, having water. So, all right, that should be it. Check out the video. Here. Well, when I first moved here, there was a little creek and a briar patch here, and cleaned it up and made a little pond, and that is stocked with catfish and bluegills, and so that's also recreational too and relaxing, and so a lot of fun to watch little kids catch their first fish here. And so anyhow, what have I done here? What have I got here? I think you've seen this in other videos. I won't go into detail. This is my hand auger, and here's the auger kit, and this is a well that I drilled by hand, and this well is about 20 foot deep. It took me 6 times before I could get by all the rock to find a spot, but just keep at it. And I've got this T-handled hand pump I made. It's just all homemade, and you can see it's pumping water kind of by itself as it goes down. But let's see, get a better shot here. I made a force pump, meaning the water just doesn't drop out here. I can hook a hose to this, and I can pump this water up just about 100 foot in the air. That's the amount of pressure I was able to build just by pushing this down with my hand. And so just a homemade pipe pump, nothing fancy, but it works fantastic. So I have well water, and then I have my solar panel. Been pumping water with this system for about 6.5 years now, and 4 panels in series, and I direct drive. You see the wire, and that comes to my spring. So walk with me down to my spring. Again, separate water sources. The well is not tied into the pond, and vice versa. And then the spring that I'm taking you to is on the side of a hill. Side hill springs are the easiest to develop. The springs that are just kind of a seepage area, those are harder because you don't have good drainage and they're just more difficult to develop, but it can be done. Also, in building the pond, as you've seen in some of my ram pump videos, I've got different pipes coming out of the dam, overflow pipes, and then ram pump pipes. And hope this is not too long or boring for you. But again, think of there's different ways to get water. And these ram pumps are pumping water up. I've got one shut off today, and I've got one running, as you can hear. I've seen these on others. This one's been running for about a week. Just pumping away. Made some adjustments to the counterweight. And let's take a quick peek at the pressure gauge running right around 35 psi. I know you can't see that there, but 35 psi times 2.31. This little homemade ram's pumping right now at 80 feet straight up and about 800 feet to my cattle tanks. All right, continue to go with me. So we looked at the well, we've looked at the pond, the solar panel, and the ram pumps. I'm going to come down here a little more and take you to a spring that I developed a few years back. Ended up taking concrete pipes, and there were old culvert pipes, turning them vertically and burying them down into the spring after I dug it out. And we're almost there. You'll begin to hear the water coming back. On all of my systems, I have return lines. Put return lines in. Conserves water. You're not pumping it up and letting it store. It also saves on having to deal with the algae problem. So here's my spring system. You can see water coming back. What this is as you can see, this is a return line. And this is 125 feet below where I'm pumping the water to. So the water will gush out here from time to time. Here it comes. And this is all spring water. And it is ice cold. And down in my spring here, I've got about 800 gallons of spring water at any one time. I'm going to pull this return line out of here because it's noisy. And now I'm soaked. Woohoo! Oh, am I soaked now? That was not cool, but anyway. See, the spring is kind of settling down. I wanted you to see if you could pick up the stainless steel. It's a helical gear solar well pump that you could put in a well. It'll pump 700 feet, so it'll do deep wells, of course. And so again, this is just water. I keep circulating and keep it aerated. The cows have done really well on it, and over the last 6 years. And I pump this water up to a storage tank, and I distribute that water to 9 different places on the property. I have lines everywhere, cattle waterers, and also I can use it for watering my gardens. So I'm not using any chlorinated or city water, and this is great. Direct drive system, so it comes from the solar panel, sorry, way back there, you can't see them, and then direct drives to these little control panels, little breaker boxes, and a controller, and it says system is on, pump is on. If it over pumps, if there's a leak or something, it'll shut down, it won't burn up the pump. But you can see the water just coming out here. So I like to run it in here and just kind of let it fall back down in. Just keep oxygen, keep it aerated. I could have thrown some trout in here, but I really haven't messed with that. I don't want to do that yet, but I could. It's so cold. Okay, so this is the spring. Developed on the side of a hill. You still see there's plenty of water. There's water still running out. To give you an idea, it's just on the side hill, and always when there's a big old poplar tree, they're usually tapped in. Not always, but many times tapped into a spring. Okay, and this is overflow. I can also take my tractor and hook up to this line. I've got another foot valve in there, and I brought my pump down here. The redundancy. This is a little 8-roller PTO pump. And I can pump a lot of water. This will pump way up in the air. Anyway, it's just a PTO pump that hooks on the back of my tractor, so I can, if everything else fails and my tractor's still running, I can hook my tractor to that line and then fill 2,000 gallons of storage up on the hill. So I don't have to do that maybe once a week, or more or less, depending on how much water we're using, depending on the time of year too. But so that's a lot of redundancies in water, and but it works great. This thing is I highly recommend it if you can justify it. Is pumping with solar.